that's just about it for the regular news. We're gonna get into some really deep stuff here. We have the lights over Norway, and if you guys haven't seen that, we have a video on the Real News Show blog. We have some explanations that came out of the alternative media already that I'm not satisfied with. I don't know about you, Jeremy. Did you listen to the Coast to Coast on this issue?
I've looked at a bunch of stuff online. Yeah. I've had a lot of people. I run a YouTube channel with a lot of subscribers, and I had a lot of people ask me about this case and send me a lot of stuff about it, and
That's
really
great.
ask me for my opinion.
Yeah.
And I realize that I've looked at it, and I mean, there's a couple things that that could hold true for the the official theory that they're giving right now is that this Russian sub that launched this missile or this this new test rocket, this ballistic missile, and I mean, that's sort of corroborates with all these videos that we see, because it seems like all these videos appear after the event happened and they're catching the smoke trail or whatever. So I'm thinking if this rocket launch did happen, of course it would make a really loud noise. All these people would hear it, and by the time they got their video camera on, this thing might be gone already, and they might be filming this little smoke trail left over from behind it. And you can see that spiral, and that vortex shape could be created from a rocket that's spiraling.
Yeah.
It could be the smoke exhaust. The only thing that concerns me is that the same thing happened like 10 years ago in China, and someone caught it on film, and
looks just the same.
It looks almost identical. There's footage of that on that some people have sent me that it's around, and people have pointed that out. And,
wow.
A lot of people ask me questions. Is it like an interdimensional wormhole?
Yeah. Well, we're going to figure that out.
It's crazy.
I mean,
it looks what?
It looks like some kind of wormhole. Or,
absolutely. It looks like some technology that is not.
But looks like, and having evidence to prove that is a different case.
That's very different.
And we can speculate on this all we want, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be any closer to finding out.
There you go. So I want to play the. We should play the Russia Today that I sent all you guys, and just to get the mainstream media, sort of mainstream. They're not even really mainstream.
I like them.
Russia Today.
I like them for American news, anyways. I'm sure they're tilted for their own news, but for us, they like to put it out there.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. Just to frame the discussion a little bit, I'm going to play this video, and you guys are also welcome to play any videos that you want, but I'm going to go ahead and do this right now, and see what you guys think. Give us a call if you want. Phone number is...
Mornings before that tonight, Norwegian authorities are investigating strange lights seen in the Arctic sky. The spiralling white light was seen for several minutes Wednesday morning. Locals say the light appeared to be bigger than the moon. Thousands of Norwegians bombarded the Meteorological Institute to ask what that light could have possibly been. Some feared it could have been a meteor, others a black hole, and there are even those that thought it could be aliens. But defense experts in Oslo suggest it is more likely to have been a failed Russian missile launched from the area of the White Sea. They think a rocket probably went out of control and self-destructed. There's been no official comment, though, from the Russian military.
Anyway, so that was a quick video about the lights. You can go check that out online. There's all sorts of ways to do that if you want. You can just Google Norway lights. They're all over the place. And if you watch the video of this thing, it's spiraling in midair, right? You have this disc-shaped object, and whether or not it's a disc in true life, it appears as a disc, right? And it's rotating. And you see the spiral in the middle twisting repeatedly, right? And then you see it open up in the middle, right?
Right.
And this opening, this is the very interesting thing to me. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to play one more video of the Coast to Coast AM. They had a guest on. His name was Charles Ostman. And he gives an alternate theory of the whole thing. And it's a little bit more grounded than the things that I'm really considering at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and play that. We'll see what happens. See what you guys think about it, at least. So let's try not to talk too much.
Discussion with George about the Norway spiral, but it seems to me the timing of that was that you came on either just before the Russians confirmed that it was one of their rockets? Had they confirmed it yet when you came on with George earlier this week?
But I'm still not buying their explanation, and I will gladly, sort of point out my alternative view. Yes, that is what they released officially, but what has not been released officially, by the way, are spectrographical analysis of what was up there in the atmosphere. And normally, if a rocket had, become disabled, you'd see spectral traces of absorption lines, really, of things like hydrazine and other well-known, standard rocket propellants. But nobody's released that data that I know of.
So at first, though, the Russians denied that was an out-of-control rocket fired from an area that typically they fire rockets from. So that part wasn't unusual. Not unusual, although the direction it was traveling was kind of unusual. That's one little piece of that puzzle I'd like to run there. All right. And then, although if it had malfunctioned, do we really know what direction it was supposed to be heading in? Well, you can't really say for certain. I mean, obviously, all the major superpowers that launch these things, including us and China for that matter, will keep these things secret even after they're launched. But nonetheless, I mean, the Norwegians were told in advance that there'd be some kind of a test, and then this thing occurred. And we'll go with that. I guess my question was, if just because it ended up if the trajectory of the rocket seemed out of the ordinary, wouldn't that be consistent with the idea that it was misfiring and they had lost control of it, though, too? No, certainly there's a logic to that, but the alternative logic could be, and I'm just offering a suggestion. I'm not saying I have any hard proof. I'm just saying another way of looking at it would be if one of the other agendas was to launch a device that would then dispense some kind of material, like, for instance, barium or some other material that's often used for ionospheric experiments, that would be exactly what they would do. They would launch it. It would dispense the material in a large pattern, as we saw. Right. And they'd be illuminated possibly with a HAARP-like instrument or something else similar to actually see what the reaction would be. And we've done the same experiments ourselves. That's why when I saw this, the first thing I thought of was exactly that, because I've actually seen the very same experiments that we've done over in our part of the world. Well, that's very interesting. So, but since then the Russians have confirmed that, yes, in fact, that was one of our rockets. And okay, so, but let's go back to what you're saying. So we have done something like this where we have intentionally fired something that created a large area in the sky, which was in some way washed with a chemical that we wanted to test. Correct. The idea was that can we affect the behavior of the ionosphere? Can we correct either a hot spot or can we change the RF oblito, that is the reflectivity or certain spectral ranges within certain reflective areas to accommodate some kind of a larger project? And that, I mean, the range of things that HAARP-like systems are used for is actually quite diverse. It's not just one thing, it's a whole variety of things. What do you think this could have been that they fired up in the air? You mentioned barium earlier, but what is it that you think they would have done if it was similar to what we had done in the past? One possible arena of research that's been well documented could be the potential of changing in some way the climatic sort of patterns of the Earth. In other words, if one wanted to, say, alter a jet stream or just create a hot spot for some other reason, that would be one way of doing it. The other thing is that you have to also realize that when the ionosphere and then, of course, the troposphere below it is illuminated with cosmic rays or solar wind particles from the sun, that causes a reaction with the elements that are in the atmosphere.
All right, guys, you heard it there. There's some alternate theories going around the internet. Charles Ostman, he's a senior fellow at the Institute for Global Futures and serves with the management team of Fourth Venture. You heard that interview from Coast to Coast AM. Coast to Coast is they're a great source for alternative information. I don't know where you get your alternative information, but Coast is a great place to go. George Norrie, great host. That interview was actually done by Ian Punnett, and he's the sort of weekend host once in a while. So we have here in studio Michael Nystrom, Frank Gabone, Jeremy the Alien Scientist, and Garrett Kirtland. And we are talking about some suppressed technology, the lights over Norway in particular. And so some people have their own theories. Myself, I saw this, and I never really believed in a lot of the fringe science movement before I saw this, right? But as soon as I saw it, I thought scalar technology. And we welcome your calls here on scalar technology. If you have a complaint, you don't want us to talk about scalar technology, you might as well give us a call right now, because we're going to be talking about it for the next half hour. 617-253-80.